Hey, Dustin Tibbetts here, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth, and I've still got gum in my mouth, so I've got that gummitude going on, but I'll try not to chew in front of you. Check us out at jazzwealth.com. We're very transparent, as you can tell. Anyways, I'm going to teach you how to save for retirement today, and we're not going to play the game of like, well, get your budget straight and do all that stuff. We're going to get right into the details and do it in really just a couple steps so that you can say, okay, this is boring. I'm going to tackle one thing, then I'm going to tackle the next and the next and so on. So you don't have to do this all in one shot. Ready? Here we go. The first thing that you want to do is figure out the savings amount. So many people just put whatever in their 401k. How much do you need to save? I get it that everybody says 10 to 15% or whatever, but what's the magic number? So the first thing we're going to do is figure out that number. And I hope you are younger than this, but my example today is Louis Armstrong. He is 42 years old, wants to retire at 62, and plans to have a 25-year retirement. That's how we say that. It's nice instead of saying, when will you die? Already saved for retirement in his 401k. We've got pre-retirement returns as verified by his 401k. Current salary is $165. He's a married man, so this includes both of them. And we've got some other data in here. He's saving 15% of his salary. And he just came to me and said, I don't know, it just sounded right. That's what I'm doing. I said, okay, first thing we're going to do is figure out that savings amount. How much does your employer match? Up to 5%, and I'm not saving any other dollars anywhere else. Retirement expectations are for $100,000 a year. That's the goal anyways, and we'll expect that he makes 5.5% in a year. You could do all this, right? But otherwise, come check us out. We'll do it all for you. That's our first step, actually. We've got some of the other assumptions in here with Social Security for both him and his wife there, and they're going to sell their house and downsize at some point, but they do not know when. Well, real quickly, what we can figure out is he only either needs to save 12.9%. Let's call it 13%, because see, he's running a surplus down here. So let's go 13%, and that puts him, right at the line. So step number one, we're going to figure out that number, figure out what he's comfortable with. Now, I am not going to tell him to just change his 401k contribution, because that could change his taxes. So step number one, figure out the amount. And then step number two is which dollars should go where, right? We want that tax advantage. We don't want to just save for the sake of saving. What if there's a more optimal way to do it? So step number one, how much money? Step number two, which dollars go into which account? Roth 401k, 401k, maybe it's just a traditional IRA, maybe you're a subcontractor, self-employed, and it's a SEP IRA. So we want to figure that out as step number two. We know the amount. Step number two, we know where those dollars are going. There is an advantage to taking time to figuring that out. Okay, step number three. Now that we have dollars going into the right accounts, we want to figure out what investments should go in each account. It is not good enough to just put the same ETFs, the same mutual funds, the same stocks, whatever, in the various types of accounts. Each account has its own tax advantage. So for example, in a Roth 401k, we want that to be as aggressive as possible. Number one, because people don't tend to spend that until later in retirement. And number two, it's tax-free. We want as much growth as possible. We don't want to see as much growth in the taxable accounts or the pre-tax accounts, because we're just going to owe more tax. So we want to try to take advantage of that and make sure that the right investments are in the right accounts. So step number one, what is the savings amount? Step number two, which of that savings, which dollars go in which account? Step number three, it's time to pick the investments and be methodical about it. Think about that for just a second about how that's going to affect your taxes. Step number four is the tax efficiency with the rest of your dollars. Most of the time, people say, okay, I got this retirement investing thing done. I'd like to save for something else long term. I'd like to maybe strategize so that when I do take money out of my 401k, I can use some other dollars to maybe offset some of that tax. I can think about doing conversions along the way. And so I've got some of those dollars to pay the tax now, presumably when you would pay less tax than in the future. All right. Real simple. There's your four-step process, and it keeps it real simple. Savings amount. Number two, which dollars go in which account? Spend a little time on that one. Step number three, which investments go in which account? Spend a little time or get some help. And step number four, do we need extra dollars for tax efficiency? So there you go. That's how you save for retirement. That's how you get things at least started. If you need help, well, we hope you'll check us out at jazzwealth.com. 100% fiduciaries with nothing to sell but ourselves. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can help as fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.